Happy Tuesday, everyone, and welcome back to All About America's Team, brought to you by Delahanty Media. I'm your host, Ray Nickens, the speaker of objectivity, joined today, as always, with my co-host,
Owen the Chico.
and we have a very exciting show for you today. It is finally time to get the ball rolling on the regular season. It is week 1, and the Cowboys' first matchup looms just 2 days away, where they will be taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the road. We are outmanned, outgunned, and unprepared. For my mom, that is your cue for me to make sure that you're actually watching this episode. I won't say where that is from, but that's just, Google it. But we are going to do our due diligence and walk through everything in this pregame show to prep for Thursday. Some of the topics we'll be going through are how the Cowboys match up with the Bucs man on man, key players who must impact the game, how can the Cowboys steal this game, and finally, our game predictions that we'll be sharing at the end of this episode. We are super excited to finally get into the regular season, so let's get right into it. Cowboys are walking into a buzzsaw for week 1 as they will be facing Tom Brady and the reigning champs. Dak Prescott is going to play, but the offensive line is already dropping like flies, with Zach Martin testing positive with COVID and Lyle Collins limited with neck stingers. So, Owen, after you go through some news, I'll let you lead off on the first topic, which is how do you see Dallas matching up with the Bucs on offense and on defense? Take it away.
So, talking about Lyle Collins, apparently he's had 2 really good practices, Mike McCarthy said, and apparently the neck stinger is gone. So, as of right now, he should be good to go out there. And Zach Martin, no one else tested positive in the building, just him. So, they're looking for him to have 2 negative tests, and hopefully he will be taking a test today. And if it comes out negative and then he needs one more, and they'll be looking to send him with the team on a separate plane in hopes that he will have 2 negative tests. And hopefully at some point in time in the game, we'll be trotting out there at right guard. So, Ray, actually, I want you to say first your matchups. I'm interested to see what you have to say.
Okay. So I have the roster in front of me, but I'm not going to go down the line because I'm pretty sure everybody knows who exactly is going to play. So that might have been a waste of time on my end writing all of those names down. But some key matchups that I have that must be emphasized are relatively, I have cornerbacks versus the wide receivers. This is our cornerbacks versus the wide receivers. Actually, let me start over. So mismatches I have for the Dallas Cowboys. On offense, I have our offensive line versus their defensive line. This is usually not an issue for the Dallas Cowboys, as they have a very strong offensive line when healthy. However, with Zach Martin potentially not going to be out there, and also Lyle Collins dealing with some neck stingers, whether or not they're gone or there, that's just an issue that we have to pay attention to. He may be limited in his performance, therefore it's going to be a little bit more difficult for us to stay in front of the multiple waves that the Tampa Bay Bucs are going to bring on our offensive line. So if our offensive line is compromised, then it's going to be really hard for us to protect Dak Prescott and run the football, which will ultimately be the Achilles heel for us to have any chance of winning this game. And I'll get into later on how we could possibly steal this game later on in the show. My next matchup, I have I'm going to go into some mismatches for our defense. First one would be our cornerbacks versus their wide receivers. I know Trayvon Diggs is our most skilled corner. However, he's still a 2-year man. He's coming off a rookie year, and he's going to be going up against a very seasoned veteran in Mike Evans, who has had 1,000 yards every year he has stepped on the field since his rookie year. He's experienced. He knows how to run routes, and Tom Brady trusts him, and I'm sure that Tom Brady is going to have no issue on picking on Trayvon Diggs this game. Another matchup, Anthony Brown versus Chris Godwin. I don't see us winning that matchup, and I definitely do not see Jordan Lewis beating Antonio Brown on any play whatsoever. So Anthony Brown and Jordan Lewis may have to resign after this performance, after they get destroyed so badly. So I think it's very important to help them. Our defensive line needs to win. Anthony or Randy Gregory, if you want to earn a future payday, this is the game to do it. DeMarcus Lawrence, if you want to earn the paycheck that you are receiving, this is the game to do it. That brings me into my next mismatch, unfortunately, which is our defensive line going up against their offensive line. Their offensive line is experienced. They were very effective in keeping Tom Brady upright for the second half of the season and into the postseason, and they don't really make many mistakes. Tom Brady has a lot of time in the pocket to make decisions, and if we cannot rush Tom Brady effectively, we are going to get killed. So our linebackers are going to be a really key factor in helping our defensive line. They got to stick to their gaps. They have to be disciplined. They can't cut corners because cutting corners versus the Buccaneers will get you beat by 40. Moving on to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. On offense, do they have any mismatches? No. They're better than our defense in any way, shape, or form. So we're just going to skip that part. On defense, however, I'm going to say that their DBs, they are compromised versus our wide receivers. Amari Cooper is a wide receiver 1. CeeDee Lamb is a wide receiver 1. Michael Gallup is a wide receiver 2, teetering on wide receiver 1, depending on how you feel about him. But I do think that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are way better coached and disciplined, and have are way more fundamentally sound than our DBs. So as a result, I think they're going to be able to make good decisions and keep their weakness hidden. One of the ways that they're going to be able to do that, while that's not by their own accord, is their defense, is their front seven. Their front seven is a beast, and they're going to be getting after our offensive line, especially since it's compromised. They're going to be attacking Connor McGovern all night. They're going to be attacking Connor Williams all night, and whoever they bring in, whether it be Steele or Knight, God forbid any of those two losers step on the field, they will be going after them. And if we cannot protect Dak Prescott, it's going to be a disaster. So those are just some of our key matchups that I have, very relative, not getting into individuals. Thoughts?
I did a similar thing. So I was gonna do each main group, like going back. So basically, as of today, right now, going back to an earlier episode, I thought that Dak overall right now was better than Tom Brady. But as of right now, that was before the shoulder injury. Now with the shoulder injury and coming off and not really having that much of an off season, Brady is the better quarterback. I believe that Zeke is better than Leonard Fournette, which I'll get into how Zeke can win us this game later. I feel like both wide receiving cores are kind of similar in how good they are. A lot of people say that they're 1 and 2 in the whole league. Tampa Bay's tight ends are definitely better than Dallas's, with Gronkowski, who's, even though he hasn't really had that great season, he's still really consistent. If Dallas's O-line is fully healthy, I feel like if Martin can have 2 negative tests, then I'll be much more confident in this game. And then all the way down the list, Tampa Bay's defense is better. I think that Diggs overall is the best cornerback, but when your number 2 is Anthony Brown, your number 3 is Jordan Lewis, you're not really going to be winning many games. And then obviously, Bruce Arians and the rest of the coaching staff is way better than Dallas's. Mm-hmm. So it'll be, on paper, it looks like it may be more of a shootout, but if you're looking for who's going to stop the other offense first, it looks like Tampa Bay, without a shadow of a doubt, will be able to stop Dallas's offense before Dallas's second to last ranked defense has a glimpse of beating out Tampa Bay. But that's just, it's going to be a rough game. will be a rough game.
Hey, it's
But
it's however you look at it. It doesn't have to be a
yeah,
rough game if you don't want it to be a rough game.
exactly. So now I'm going to get into key players. Zeke needs to have a big game. Just one of the main stories of the offseason is how good he looks and how thin he looks and how this is the best physique he's had since his rookie year. If he can have 90 to 100 yards from rushing and then catch a few passes from Dak in the backfield, and if we can control the time of possession, which is kind of what the Cowboys are great at. I know that last year Dak threw the ball more because our defense couldn't do anything. But Ray and I have talked about this an immense amount of times. Dallas will win games by running the ball. If they can control the time of possession and if Zeke can just run, and get 4 to 5 yards per carry, that's how we're going to win games. I don't believe that we can win many shootouts based on our defense. But if McCarthy and Kellen Moore, if they sit together with Dak and Zeke and be like, hey, we're going to go back to 2016 and the identity of this offense will be running the ball, then I believe they can be a scary offense. In my other honest opinion, we need our tight ends to get open often and take some pressure off Dak, because if Dak has to keep on dropping back and waiting for the wide receivers to get open, if our offensive line isn't healthy, then he's going to have everyone in his face, and that's not something you want for a quarterback that hasn't played since last October. And also, I think one of the biggest question marks is how healthy is Greg Zuerlein? The Cowboys, whenever they get into really good field position, they don't like to score touchdowns, and they rely too often on field goals. And if they are forced to put a kicker out there who misses, then there's really no way that they can win this game. Because if you want to go back to the Brett Maher days, if you want to talk about how important field goals were, then if Zuerlein has a Brett Maher type season based off his injuries, then there's really no way that we can go very far, because Dallas does not like to score when they're within the 40-yard line. Another thing I think is, how can Donovan Smith hold up against Randy Gregory? Randy Gregory this is the first complete offseason I think he's had, and going up against Donovan Smith will be a very big test for him, because if Randy can keep on beating him, then that'll look really good, and like Ray said, it will earn him that payday. And obviously Antonio Brown going up against Jordan Lewis, he'll have 60 plus yards and 1 or 2 touchdowns, depending on how greedy Tom Brady is and how much he wants to hurt our souls. And the last thing, then we can go into Ray's. Leonard Fournette and company, they need to have at least 150 plus yards in total and just destroy the Dallas's defense to really blow this game open. If they're not able to run the ball successfully, then I think that will be allowing Dallas to keep on chipping away and maybe even come out for the win. But those are my key matchups, Ray. What about yours?
So I also have Antonio Brown on Jordan Lewis. I think that matchup is going to be the most important matchup for this game. Jordan Lewis is the underdog. He should be the underdog, whether or not, if you hate Antonio Brown, feel like he's washed, or think he's going to be a dominant receiver again. He's the favorite in this matchup, because Jordan Lewis is just, I don't think Jordan Lewis can stay with him. So if Jordan Lewis can somehow limit Antonio Brown to under 75 yards receiving and keep him out of the end zone, that would be huge, because that leads me to my second matchup with Evans and Diggs. Diggs is the best corner by far on this defense. He's going to hold his own with Mike Evans. He might not win against Mike Evans all the time, but he can hold his own. And if we can limit Antonio Brown, keep him out of the end zone, and have a battle with Mike Evans, that will leave Chris Godwin and the tight ends, and the Cowboys can work with that. And I'll get into how they can work on that later on in the show. But my next matchup, I have Lyle Collins versus whoever he lines up in front of him. It could be really anybody. I was going through the Bucks depth chart, and they have a lot of linebackers, and the people who are linebackers don't really make sense to being linebackers because they line up as defensive ends. So I'm just gonna say, for this sake, that it's Levante David, just for this sake, because I feel like Sue is gonna.
JPP.
Or yeah, JPP. I'm gonna say it's JP. I'm gonna say he's lining up versus JPP. JPP, while he's old, he's been around a long time. He knows how to win in the trenches. And if Lyle Collins is limited at all, it's going to be a problem. Connor Williams and Connor McGovern, they are under the microscope for this game because they're going to be the guys in the inside, whether or not if Zach Martin cannot play. They're the interior guys. So they're going to go against Vita Vea, who is a massive specimen who can stop the run and just clog up the interior. And then also Ndamukong Suh will probably match up sometime in the middle. He's a force. He knows how to win, pressure the quarterback. So they're going to be, if they cannot protect Dak and, get a push forward, it's going to be hard to run the football. Yeah. In my final key matchup, is Dak versus the football game. Ray, why, you may be asking, Ray, why are you matching up Dak in the football game? Well, I'm glad you asked. Dak has not played a game in 11 months. He has not played a preseason game in 11 months. He has not played a drive in 11 months. He hasn't even taken a snap in 11 months in a game. So it's going to be very important for this game to see how Dak looks. Some ways we can some ways this can be emphasized. Is Dak going to make the right decisions? Is he going to turn the ball over? Is he going to get jumpy when they pressure him? How do his feet look? Can he avoid pressure, etc.? How's the ankle look? Will it hold up? How's the shoulder? Does he have velocity? Blah, blah, blah. Dallas cannot, I'm going to say this I'm going to try and make this point very clear. Owen, I don't know if you're going to agree with me. You may not. But for this game and this game only, Dak cannot, or the Cowboys cannot put Dak in the position where they are putting all of the load on his back for him to win the football game. Because he cannot do it. Because no player, I don't care who you are, if you're Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Mahomes, whoever, if you're out of football for a year, you're not going to come back your first game versus the Super Bowl champs and have your team say, hey, win the game. You're not going to do it. So they have to run the ball. They have to put them in every best opportunity to succeed. So those are my key matchups for the game. And what do you think?
I agree with basically everything you said, but the one thing that I definitely agreed with was Dak. I feel like a lot of people say that he's really good in fourth quarter comebacks, but you have to realize that most of them, if not all of them, are from his rookie year. I remember a few seasons ago when they played the Saints against Teddy Bridgewater, and Dak was able to. There was one drive left with under a minute left, and granted, we lost that game because of false start penalties. But that was one game where I was like, okay, Dak, show me that you can that your rookie year wasn't a fluke, and do what everyone says you can do basically off your rookie year. But then, of course, Tyron Smith and Lyle Collins decided to have a false start party and ruined any chance of that happening. But yeah, I don't think I don't really know what's gonna. It's one of two Daks can go out. Either gun happy where he's just throwing everywhere and just trying to throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks, or it's short passes to anyone who's open and just giving the ball to Zeke a lot, which isn't the greatest idea either, but we'll see. One thing definitely though, I'm really looking forward to seeing him trot out on the field after having to see Andy Dalton, Garrett Gilbert, and Ben DiNucci out there for the most part of last season. But it'll be a game. I'm gonna try to take quarter by quarter and see what happens. But for the next segment, Ray, you and I are going to be doing some over-unders for the season. Now, the first part of this over-under, do you think that Zeke will have 1,000 rushing yards over or under?
I'm going to say over, but not by much.
Okay, I said under. Do you think that Amari Cooper will have over or under 85 receptions?
Under.
He had 92 last year without like Dak for most of it, so I'm going to say over. Do you think Jalen Smith will have 90 tackles?
No. No.
No.
He won't be on the field long enough for him to have 90 tackles. No.
Do you think DeMarcus Lawrence will have 7 sacks? Over or under?
Under.
I say over. Do you think Dak will play 14 games?
Yes.
Okay. I said over as well. I think that in a perfect world, he plays one less game because they sit everyone because they have the division all wrapped up. But we know how that went in 2016. So hopefully he plays all the games. Now we're gonna do a segment. Who will? So first of all, who will lead the Dallas Cowboys in receiving yards?
CeeDee Lamb.
So I said the same exact thing. Who will lead the team in interceptions?
I don't know. I'm gonna go with Donovan Wilson.
I said the same thing, and it's either gonna be him or Diggs. I know Diggs dropped like 17 interceptions last year, but I think it'll be Wilson. Who do you think will be this year's breakout player? Or this, yeah.
I'm going to go with like offense and defense.
I just picked one, but okay, I picked a defensive player, but we could do both, one of each.
I'm gonna say for offense, I'm gonna go with Blake Jarwin on offense, and on defense, I'm going to go with Diggs.
Okay, so for breakout, I did Brent Urban because of how hard our run defense was last year. For defense, but on offense, I'll say Connor Williams, the left guard from UT. Who do you think will be this year's biggest disappointment?
I'll pass until after you go.
Okay, I said Anthony Brown. I think I was very sad when I heard that what's his name? Our second round pick cornerback, I forget his boss man Fat. I forgot his name. Had a groin injury and will be out for the first 3 weeks. So I wanted him to start, but we have Anthony Brown now. I think he'll get benched for Nahshon Wright very early. Only thing I needed to see from Anthony Brown was him getting destroyed on an out route by Chase Claypool. I was like, yeah, pack it up. Pack your bags, Anthony. Like, get out of here, please. You haven't had a good year since your rookie year. Yeah, that's who I think my biggest disappointment will be. What about you, Ray?
Okay, I'm gonna say I'm not gonna go based on because like Anthony Brown, Smith. Jordan Lewis, Jalen Smith, I know they're gonna suck. I'm gonna go with Dak because, like I said, Dak is a $75 million man. He's getting paid a lot of money. I don't think the Cowboys are gonna make the postseason, and that unfortunately is gonna fall on his shoulders. And I just don't think that Dak's gonna live up to the hype of his contract. That doesn't mean he can't in the future, but this year he's not going to do it. So I'm going to go with Dak.
Do you think he will? I'm going to talk about it later, but do you think that he has any chance of this year beating out Tony Romo's like 4,903 yard record?
He does. However, if he wants to win, he's going to not do that because they're going to be running the ball.
And now we were going to the long-awaited season prediction. So I don't think you're going to have the schedule in front of you. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm going to give you I'm gonna give you the game, and you're gonna tell me if it's gonna be a win or a loss. And the off chance you could say it's a tie, but I doubt that'll happen. Bucks.
L.
Okay, you keep counting the L's and W's. I have mine.
Okay.
Chargers.
Wait.
You can write it down, and then after we will compare the wins and the losses.
All right. Okay.
Bucks, you said loss.
Loss.
Okay, Chargers.
Loss.
Eagles.
Win.
Panthers.
Loss.
Giants.
Win.
Patriots.
Loss.
Vikings.
Where is it being played?
I'd have no clue. I'd assume. I think last year was or 2 years ago. I don't know.
We played them at home last year, right?
Yeah, so I'd assume that it would be.
I'm gonna go with loss because it's on the
Okay.
road.
Broncos.
Win.
Falcons.
Win.
The Chiefs. You can just write that down as a loss. Yep. Raiders.
Win.
Saints.
Loss.
Washington.
Loss.
Giants.
Loss.
Washington.
Loss.
Cardinals.
Loss.
Eagles, and that is the last
Win.
game of the season. Okay,
Win.
so you keep your wins and losses to yourself, and I'm gonna say what I said. So Bucks loss. I have the Chargers getting the W. Or sorry, I have the Dallas beating the Chargers for the W. I have Cowboys beating the Eagles, Cowboys beating the Panthers, Cowboys beating the Giants, Cowboys losing to the Patriots, losing to the Patriots and losing to the Vikings, beating the Broncos, beating the Falcons, losing to the Chiefs, beating the Raiders, losing to the Saints, losing to the Washington football team, beating the Giants to end that series, beating Washington, so splitting with them, losing to the Cardinals, and then beating the Eagles. So what is your record?
According to what I wrote down, I have 6-11.
Okay, I have 10-7.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 6-11. It's
Okay,
about where I had before.
Yeah,
I gave them an extra win too, if you noticed.
Awesome. Where do you so you have them not making the playoffs at all?
Right, and if you noticed, November and December is where we crumble and fail.
Okay, so I have them winning the East, but they will lose in the division round like they did in 2018.
So they're going to win the East, win their first playoff game, and then lose in the divisional round.
Yeah, so win the wild card game.
Okay, and I have them missing the playoffs.
Awesome. So who do you think that they will beat, like an upset? So who they will beat but should lose to?
Who they should lose to but beat? Probably Washington.
Okay. I have the Broncos. I think that with Teddy Bridgewater, I think that I'd rather them throw the other guy out. I forgot his name. I'd rather them put him out. Yeah, I'd rather them put him out.
So we can win.
No, I just think that what you're gonna get with Teddy Bridgewater. If you throw Drew Lock out there, if he stinks, you're gonna be at a top 5 pick, and take Spencer Rattler if he's gonna.
But they're not gonna do that. They're trading for Rodgers.
Yeah.
This year doesn't matter for them. And also, if they start Teddy Bridgewater, they're going to beat the Cowboys because Teddy Bridgewater beats the Cowboys.
Makes sense. And who do you
Except for I still said that they were still going to win against the Broncos.
Who do you think is a team that will beat Dallas but shouldn't? So that does beat Dallas, but
so even though I penciled them in as a win, that they're probably going to beat them.
No, I mean if Dallas plays the Chiefs, they should lose that game, but if they beat them. So if you think that they definitely should lose, but there's a chance that they could beat them. What
was the one before?
So the first one was the upset. So who they shouldn't beat, but they do. Here is who they should beat, but they lose to. So I have that Dallas should beat the Patriots, but will lose to them.
Okay. They should beat Cowboys should beat the Eagles, but they could and possibly will lose to the Eagles once.
So do you think they split with them or they lose both?
Well, I have them winning both, but for this question, the Eagles are the most likely team that they would drop a game to.
Okay. And I think the last segment, until you can talk about whatever you want to, is bold predictions. And my bold prediction is that even though I hope that Dallas runs the ball a lot, that Dak will beat out Romo for the most yards in a Dallas season, which is getting at least 4,904 passing yards. I don't think it'll be a cute 4,904 yards, but I think that he will get it. And I also think that Zeke will get close to 1,000 yards in there somehow. But
my bold prediction is that Jalen Smith is cut by midseason.
You can't, because then the cap is all dates and stuff. But I know
it's a bold prediction. They're gonna be so tired of him that they're no. I'm just kidding.
No,
I'll have an actual real bold prediction. My bold prediction is that Zeke wins the rushing title.
Going back to what you said before, if you're so tired of him, just do what Houston's doing, and it's just benching Deshaun.
Yeah, well, we're not smart. Which is why we're going 6-11, because we're not smart.
I don't think so. So Bucks is a loss. Chargers, their biggest issue last year was not being able to protect Herbert.
Remember, our first 5 weeks is Dak's preseason. I said that for a reason.
Okay, so let's say that like in your world they lose to the Bucks, they lose to the Chargers. So basically, in the first 6 weeks, you're gonna go 3-3, which is still pretty good. If you can beat the Eagles, Panthers, and the Giants, and then lose to the Patriots, Chargers, and the Bucks, like that's fine.
I think I had the Cowboys at 2-3 after 5 weeks.
Okay.
I think.
So then you have them going 2-4 in the first 6.
I think, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I have 2-3 after 5 weeks, and 2-5 after 7 weeks, and 4-5 after 9 weeks. November and December is our demise. Buckle up; it's going to be a bumpy ride. All right, so. We're gonna get into our last 2 segments before wrapping this up. And that segment is, and I'm very interested in hearing what you have to say, but it's how can the Dallas Cowboys game plan in order to steal this game against the reigning Super Bowl champions? Take it away.
You have to, in my opinion, just run and throw short. Like throw short for the first few drives, and then you can't just have Dak like throwing his arm off the first quarter. Yeah, because that's gonna be a whole lot of picks, and I don't want to have to watch all that. So I think you have to run the ball a lot in the first few downs, and then after that, hopefully if you're in third and manageable, just throw some slants, some screens, and some swing passes. And then defense, it's just, I don't think you're going to have to do more man, in my opinion, because they have 3 solid wide receivers. And I don't trust Anthony Brown and Jordan Lewis in zone coverage. Because in my opinion, Jordan Lewis's best game was a few years ago when they pulled off a win against the Saints, when no one else thought they could, and he basically played man-to-man on Alvin Kamara the whole game and sealed the deal by intercepting Drew Brees. But what is your game plan?
All right, so I went into very excessive detail because to beat the Bucks, you have to be very detailed. So I broke this up into 3 categories. I have offense, defense, and then special teams. So I'm just going to go down the line. On offense, the key things we must do is we must control the time of possession. Cowboys are at their best, as you know, when they control the clock and they run the football effectively and they stay ahead of the chains. When the Dallas Cowboys switched to that mentality in 2014, it took a lot of pressure off Tony Romo to carry the team the entire game, and he was able to just focus on the end of the game when they needed him to lead them down the field. And I think Dallas won at least 10 out of their 16 games with game-winning drives and went 8-0 on the road that year. And that was because they ran the ball first and controlled the clock. So the next thing, and just to emphasize, if we cannot run the football, stay ahead of the chains, Dak will be on his back every drive. So just how we do that, favor the right side of the left side of the line. So Lyle Collins is going to be limited. Zach Martin may not play. So they have to do their best to minimize whatever effects those are. So that could be running left more than right, moving the protection towards the right on pass plays and get Dak out of the pocket quickly. But also if you stay ahead of the chains, you can limit the blitzes and give Dak a better chance to succeed by throwing short passes, etc., and running play action. So the next thing I have is the Cowboys cannot turn the football over. It is just a absolute no-no. This game, every game you can't turn the ball over, but this game you absolutely cannot turn the football over. So Zeke cannot fumble. I'm not going to get into that anymore. He just can't fumble. So if he's even thinking about fumbling, Zeke, just don't play. Next thing, we got to keep Dak comfortable and upright. Like I said before, I don't believe Dak is ready for the game speed of the regular season. So anything we can do to help him be successful, whether that be short, quick passes, should be an emphasis. If we can give him third and manageable, we can get him in play action and roll out and get first downs that way. If we force Dak to throw third and long, it's going to lead to interceptions and then him getting sacked over and over and over again. So on defense, as the Giants showed way back on that fateful day versus the undefeated Patriots, by the way, thank you, Eli Manning, for saving us from a perfect season. You are very appreciated, and if the Patriots had gone 17-0, I would not be in my mental well state today. So thank you very much, Eli Manning. Follow him on Twitter. He's very funny. Moving on. We got to get to Tom Brady. If you can get to Tom Brady before he can get his he can go to his second read, you win. Because Tom Brady gets the ball quick. If you can, get pressure immediately, you're probably going to sack him because he's not very mobile. Like I said earlier on in this episode, D-Law, if you want to earn your $100 million contract, this is the game to do it. And Randy Gregory, if you want to get a $100 million contract and replace Jalen Smith as that guy, this is the game to do it. Next thing is we have to make the Tampa Bay offense one-dimensional. We were terrible at stopping the run, so this probably is a huge ask. But if we can somehow show that we've improved in that state and just limit Fournette and Ronald Jones and Giannotti Bernard, whether or not he'll be running the ball at all, to minimal effect and force third and longs, then we can kind of help our secondary in their coverage by limiting their chance of running the ball, which allows us to blitz with our athletic linebackers, Parsons, Van Der Esch, Jabril Cox, etc. Notice how I didn't mention somebody very specifically. Moving on. We got to capitalize on mistakes on defense. Tom Brady is not going to make a lot of mistakes, but if he throws a catchable ball at you, you have to catch it. Trayvon Diggs, do not drop the football from Tom Brady, please. It's very necessary that you catch it. If the ball is on the ground, if it's fumbled, we got to recover the ball. We can't allow them to recover a fumble because turnovers, if we win the turnover battle, we might be able to win the game. Moving on to special teams. Special teams, I would really like us to finish all of our drives with touchdowns because that would give us the best chance to win. But if we have to kick field goals, they have to be converted. every drive that crosses the Tampa Bay 40-yard line has to be converted into points for us to win the football game, because the Bucs are going to score a lot of points, and we have to make sure that we score every point that is available to us. And also, I believe that the Cowboys are going to need a big play on special teams in order to win, whether that be a blocked punt or a return for a touchdown by a kick return or a punt return. So those are my blueprints for the Dallas Cowboys to steal this game. Mike McCarthy, if you need a game plan, you can find it here. Owen, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, you went into way more detail than I did. But yeah, special teams. I saw a tweet earlier where it said that everything else on our special team was amazing besides our punter, who is no longer on this team. So now having a new punter, I definitely think that it'll make our special teams top 10, if not higher. And yeah, I completely agree with everything you say. But before we get into the next segment, there are 2 comments that were left. And Ray, I want you to hear all this. First one was, what kind of injury did our kicker have? And it was a back injury, and he had a back surgery. And back surgery for anyone isn't good, but especially for a kicker. And you kind of saw that in the final preseason game where he had the distance for it, but apparently it was a bad snap. Not really sure. And then another one, you're going to love this one, Ray. There's another comment that said, Dak is going to have 6,000 yards this year. And then he said, comma, book it. So what
Who
are your
said
thoughts
that?
on Alex did, our good old fantasy, and in our division?
Oh,
The first one came
where?
from Gianna.
Where? I see it. I see them now. I see the comments now. Okay. Let's put it this way. If Dak has 6,000 yards, it will probably mean that we are really behind in every game, and we probably will not win. So as much as I would love for Dak to have 6,000 yards, we're probably not going to benefit and win. So that's just me. In regards to Greg Zuerlein, if he makes field goals, I don't care what injury he has.
Having back, I think he had back surgery, and so did DeMarcus Lawrence. So I guess they all had. It must have been a pretty lengthy doctor's bill for this team. There were a lot of surgeries and rehabs going on.
That's okay. They have the money for it. They'll be okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you want to get into game day predictions, score predictions before wrapping this up?
Yeah, I didn't even write down a score, but I'll say the Cowboys get 13 points. So 1 touchdown and 2 field. Actually, I'll say they have 20. So the Cowboys will have 24 points. So 3 touchdowns and a field goal. And then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will have 35 plus. So 35, 24. If that works out, 35-24. I think it should. Yeah, 35-24 Tampa.
35-24. Okay.
What about you?
That's quite a generous point total for the Cowboys.
Well, I mean, like,
I'm gonna say that the Cowboys score 20 points. I'm gonna say that they get 2 touchdowns and 2 field goals.
Okay.
And I'm gonna give the Bucs 38 points, 38-20.
Okay. And how many points do you give me? It's plus 17 or plus 16?
I'm giving you 16 points.
Okay. So
that puts my point total at 18.
All right. Yeah, we should yeah, if Dallas loses, then I will be here on Thursday or on Friday with an ice pack on my shoulder, having to deal with that. And if the Buccaneers win, I think that Ray should say 5 good things about our quarterback that he did that game. And I think that is a great deal.
That'll be easy because we would have won.
I'll have to go buy an ice pack, but yeah, it'll be fun.
All right. That's just if the what happens if the Cowboys cover my 16-point spread? Nothing.
You can
It's
say
just
that.
based
You
on
can
who wins or who loses.
based off
Okay.
who wins. I think the plus 16 is more for pride than anything else.
All right. I'll take your bet.
Okay. But yeah, it'll be an interesting game. I feel like, especially last year when they played the Browns, I know that the game started off really good. Like I remember for a few touchdowns and looked like a competent football team, and then the defense kind of sputtered, and then we almost came back and won the game. But I feel like if Dallas can keep it within if they can keep it within 7 to 10 points at halftime, then there's definitely a chance they can win it. But if it's like 3 scores, there's no way they're going to come back.
I think if the Cowboys can run the football, they can win the game. If they cannot run the football, they are not winning the game. So,
Fair.
and basically, if they're running the football well, they'll probably be down 7 to 10 points, like you said. So that's just the main key. The main key to this game is Zeke running the ball forward and not backwards.
Yeah. If Zeke can't do it, then go throw Tony Pollard out there.
Yeah. Hey, whatever works, right?
Yeah, but we will be here Friday and with either sunglasses on, holding back the tears, or a hoodie on to keep the ice pack from giving me hypothermia.
But yeah, so that's all we have for today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. You can find us on All About America's Team on Instagram and America's Team, capital P, capital C on Twitter, where I will be very active during the game tweeting, just giving my thoughts as the game goes down. And also, you can find us on our YouTube. I know we had a few listeners listening live on our YouTube based on the comments, but that would be all About America's Team. That's where we'll be live when we record, and then also where you can go back and listen to past live video episodes. Like Owen said, we will be back probably Friday, maybe Saturday, depending on how life goes down, to break down the outcome. We may need a day to hibernate after the disaster. We'll see. But we'll have a lot of great things to talk about, at least on what we saw from the game and who played well and who didn't. But that's all we have. Have a great week, everyone. Again, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you on Friday or Saturday. Go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys.